All right, so let's wrap up from the previous video. We discussed the fact that the Earth rotates on its axis once a day, and that's why it appears that the sun goes around the Earth. And that as the Earth is rotating on its axis, you and I are moving with it. Therefore, it's like driving in a car. You know, you're moving along with the car, so you can't say, gee, am I really moving at 65 miles an hour here, or are they just making that up? You are moving at 65 miles an hour with the car because within the frame of reference of the car, you are stationary. So within the frame of reference of the Earth rotation, wherever you are on the planet, you are stationary with respect to the ground. It's the same idea. It's the same idea with the orbit of the Earth around the sun. Now, we do have the orbit of the moon around the Earth, so that one you are seeing correctly. Once a month, okay, approximately. And yeah, you can tell that by the Earth is gravitationally influencing the moon, and you also know that the moon is gravitationally influencing the Earth, and you can tell that by the tides, okay? So, anyhow, some fun facts to wrap up the astronomy section of this. If the Earth were the size of a penny, the sun would be, as I said, 6.7 feet in diameter. The sun would be about 242 yards away. Now, remember we discussed the idea that if I had, well, let's move on. We'll discuss it down here. If the sun were the size of a basketball, Neptune, which is now the furthest recognized planet from the sun since Pluto got demoted, Neptune would be 3/5 of a mile away. And Neptune is much smaller than the sun, so it would be like a small ball. It would be probably maybe about the size of this mouse, I'm guessing. Okay, so now skeptical question again: why if you have a basketball and a little something maybe the size of this or smaller, or just something smaller than that basketball 3/5 of a mile away? Why is it that there's no gravitation between that basketball and that littler object 3/5 of a mile away? Actually, there is. There is gravitational attraction. You are gravitationally attracted to the table in the next room there. There's gravitational attraction. It's just that the Earth's gravity is much stronger, and also there's the slight gravitation, but also slight gravitation from other objects. It cancels it out. But really, the Earth steals the show because its gravitation is much stronger, and then you have atmospheric pressure. But if you were to take two objects, two balls, and put them out into deep space, there would be not only gravitational attraction, but they would be attracted to one another. They would move closer to one another. Okay, if the sun were the size of a basketball, Proxima Centauri would be 5,538 miles away. Now, Proxima is about 3.6 light years away, and a light year is the distance it takes light to travel in 1 year. Now, think of how fast light is. And so light will travel that distance of a light year in 1 year. That's an incredible distance. So we're talking about incredible distances in the universe here. The center of the galaxy, which is about 30,000 light years, okay, but if the sun were the size of a basketball, that would be, wow, 36,538,218 miles. That is, remember that the sun is about 92,900,000 miles away, and this is 36,538,218 miles. So that's a very incredible distance if the sun were the size of a basketball. Think about the sun being its ordinary size. So the center of the Milky Way, by the way, is huge, and there's a black hole in the center of that. Okay. If the Milky Way were the size of a football field, Andromeda, which is in real life 2.2 million light years away. But if we were to shrink our galaxy to a football field, Andromeda would be about 1.25 miles away. And then the furthest known galaxy we know of, which in real life is 13 billion light years out, would be about 7,386 miles away. So that gives you some sense of proportion here. These are such incredible distances that it might be very easy for a lot of you to say, oh, well, this can't really be true. I mean, they've got to be making this up to sell books or to get funding or something like that. what I would say is that you have what it takes to be a natural scientific skeptic right there, just by asking that. So what I would encourage you to do is to go down and learn the science. And if you have an alternate theory, learn the science and present the equations. But in order to do that, you have to learn the science. So I think that you have it within you to be a natural skeptic. So, but by all means, we're going to have to learn the science in order to really afford to be skeptical. Okay, I'm going to move on to the question of evolution and how it works. I want to preface by stating that evolution has nothing to do with whether you believe that there's a creator in the universe or not. That is not the issue that's not an issue that can be addressed scientifically. That's a philosophical issue. And so those of you who have religious objections to evolution, I can't address those. As I said in the very beginning, this is about presenting the science. It's not about it's not about arguing it. I mean, take that up with somebody who's paid to do a channel. This is out of out of my own time and effort. So I'm not going to engage in that. It's kind of like the people who object to the fact that I no longer I have videos where I don't take comments. I just I do this out of the goodness of my heart and just out of wanting to express myself. So that's a choice that I make. I mean, a lot of them have their own channels anyway. I don't see what their problem is. I'm not censoring anybody. Make your own videos, Make them good. Make them with a person in them and not just a finger with a pen. But, all right, so anyhow, evolution. Let's get into what it really is. Okay, how does a dinosaur become a bird? That's counterintuitive. And you're absolutely right to ask me how it is a dinosaur becomes a bird. And we're not going to really be able to answer that until the end of the next video, but let's start off with a basic fact here. Evolution does not state that a dinosaur becomes a bird. Evolution does not state that a gorilla becomes a person. Evolution does not state that anything becomes anything. That's not how it works. Okay, evolution works through at least the Darwinian model of it. If we want to get into Lamarck or Kropotkin, I personally think that Kropotkin maybe had some answers that Darwin didn't. Okay, but I'm just going to be presenting the orthodox Darwinian model because that is, as of now, the scientific consensus. I'm not going to go to Lynn Margulis. I'm not going to go to Kropotkin. I'm not even really going to address Stephen Jay Gould all that much. I'm going to, in the next video, because I'm running low on time, I'm going to be addressing evolution and how it works according to the scientists. But I need to say right now what it's not. It is not a gorilla becoming a person. It is not life magically transforming in front of your eyes. I mean, there are mutations, but that's not what it is, okay, primarily. It is not, there's a niche in the environment, and so an organism decides, I'm going to change myself and go and fill it. Okay? It is not, it is also not something about how the strong will just crush the weak and move out there with a club, and by crushing the weak, that's what improves the species. That's not what evolution is. Okay, you could argue that the bacteria are more well adapted than we are because they've been around longer. Okay, and haven't changed as much. So it's possible that an organism not changing as much could be more well adapted. Now, I'm going to say what evolution is in the next video, but we need to be very, very clear about what it isn't. Monkeys don't become people. Dinosaurs don't become birds. And life doesn't magically transform. What is evolution? Stick around for the next video. CHistrue signing off.